Yeah, I mean, this comes against the background of we've got the lowest number of officers in West Midlands since 1974. I think there's been a 60% increase in violent crime. We're struggling to get to bread and butter policing matters. So, for me, I was quite incredulous that the Home Secretary is considering going to creating a whole new layer of bureaucracy around misogyny and ageism, which is what will happen. I think there's a debate about whether this is something that needs to be dealt with in the family, through education, and it's a social issue. And really, at the moment, what we need to be doing is making really hard choices about what we are going to deal with and what we're not, rather than this sort of thing, which I see as a side issue, and certainly my members would as well.
Are you sure misogyny is a side issue?
I would never dismiss it. It's clearly a big problem in society, but is it necessarily something that the police need to deal with?
Laura Bates, what do you make of that?
I think perhaps we're just talking at slightly cross purposes. I think there's been a misconception that when the misogyny hate crime pilot was trialled, we'd suddenly see police overwhelmed with hundreds of women trying to report wolf whistles. But actually, we don't need to speculate about what this would look like, because we've tried it. We know from the pilot project that Nottinghamshire police carried out, we know what happens. Not one woman reported a wolf whistle to the police, but women did come forward to report public order offences, sexual assault, indecent assault, and even in one case, kidnapping. What we're talking about here isn't turning anything into a crime that isn't already illegal. We're talking about the fact that women already experience extremely high levels of abuse, crime, assault that is motivated by misogyny, but at the moment, they just don't feel empowered to report it, and this could change that.
Sergeant Cook, have you misunderstood what this is all about?
No, absolutely not. I agree with your guest that it's a very important issue, and I wouldn't for a moment claim that any of those very serious crimes shouldn't be investigated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. What I'm talking about is what these systems create at the lower end, where we're talking about things which aren't actually a crime, but which police have to record as an incident. We have to use extra resources to deploy to them in some cases. We have to audit those incidents.
But don't you think it's important, if a woman has been attacked because she is a woman, that's recorded as a hate crime?
I don't know whether it matters whether it's recorded as a hate crime, as long as it's dealt with if it is a crime.
Laura Bates, why do you need to record these as hate crimes?
For two reasons. The problem is that, firstly, at the moment, they're not reported. They're not recorded because women are given the message from every level of society that they shouldn't come forward, that it isn't really a crime, that they won't be taken seriously, that it's just normal. I talk to 15-year-old schoolgirls who talk about someone rubbing up behind them with an erection on the tube as normal. So the police categorising this as a hate crime is a way of encouraging them to feel it will be taken seriously. But the other reason is because this is about the police being able to build up a picture of what's going on. By recording these crimes as misogyny hate crimes, they're able to see the links going on between them, and in some cases to build up a picture of a particular area where there's a real problem that needs to be tackled.
Sergeant Cook?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't dismiss any of these crimes. I fully support prosecuting any of the offences that I think Laura's talked about. I agree with her in most cases. I just don't think this is the time to be looking at extending our already strapped resources into creating new departments, employing officers to deal with this sort of thing.
We're not talking about creating new departments. We're literally talking about adding one category to the already existing several categories of hate crimes. This doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the law. It literally just means ticking a box to record something as part of a specific problem.
That box ticking, trust me, has added lots and lots of bureaucracy in the police force over the years. You know, there's no getting away from it. It is sometimes an exercise in creating paperwork.
And what about Laura Bates' point that by creating a category of hate crime, you will encourage people to come forward and report very serious crimes?
Well, I don't see why there's not other ways we can't encourage them to report serious crimes.
Like what?
By education, by media campaigns. Where does this end if it's classified as hate crime? Are we going to go into the realms of people who are overweight? Is that going to be a hate crime in the future? I'm not condoning these issues. These are issues in society, but are they really issues for the police that the public want the police to sort out?